if I have to go up to order, I'm not tipping. You know, restaurants are all they're all self-serve now. So
0%.
Zero. At this point, I work there.
You're doing the work. You should get tips.
They have the nerve on the iPad to do 15% tip. Chas v'sholem, 20% tip. Tip you? Why don't you tip me? Take 15%, 20 off the bill. No, literally, just pay people a living wage and leave us alone already.
Tipping when you have to do the work is awful.
Yeah, what, come a year, we're tipping 45%, we're making the shit ourselves?
What about coffee shops?
Zero.
You didn't tip for that.
Oh, this guy was rude as hell. I want to even cover the name here. I don't even want to give him anything. I'm telling you right now, the business must pay their employees. They continue to levy more and more on the consumer.
You're doing a peaceful protest.
Yes. You tip where you have service at a restaurant, tip 45.
Now everyone expects 20%.
You know, especially a coffee shop. You know, they love to flip it back, the iPad. Nobody flips one back better than me. I don't give a fuck.
You hit 0 and then you flip it right back. You know what I do? I leave a pity tip.
But that's what it should be. If you're feeling a tip, give a tip. But a mandatory tip, now we've lost the essence of the tip. Now we're doing wages. Now I work there, and I'm paying to work there. By the way, people said, oh, well, inflation, because inflation went up. Yeah, well, a tip's a percentage. So you're getting a percentage of the inflated price. What are we double dipping? Pay.
So here's how I think about tipping. I do it because I used to be cheap as hell. I used to be like, well, if I go to a restaurant, I got a tip. Here's a tip. Eat healthy. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, at a certain point, I had to realize that was just my broke ass mentality. I didn't really want to tip at all. I didn't want to give extra money because I didn't want to give the money that I paid for the thing anyways. And that was a me issue. I shouldn't have been eating out at all if I didn't want to tip. And that's my belief of it because I do believe in blessing people. Now, if it's bad service, of course, I'm not going to want to tip. But most of the time, I don't have bad service. And I'm like, yo, money is abundant. Let me say that again. Money is abundant. That is one of the reasons why I tip. Okay? If not one of the biggest reasons. Because I'm like, if I give away this little $5, man, it's $5. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't want to separate myself from $5 that much, I don't need to go out. And that deters me from going out anyways. Because I'm like, well, I know I'm a tip. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to give extra money. Guess what? I don't need to go. I think if more people think like that, they'll be a little bit more financially disciplined. But because we're taught to save money and to hoard it and to, if you get it, you want to hold it. And then people just end up splurging anyways and getting into debt. What is the point? You know what I'm saying? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Do you tip? Yes or no? And if not, why not? And if you do, why do you tip?
Speaking of big, in America, we got a big problem. I went and got a field today. It was $50. I went to go pay. Paid on my card, tapped it. The lady said, will you be leaving your tip in cash? Excuse me, bitch? Who said I was leaving a tip? For these basic ass nails. Although I had full intention on tipping, I'm a tipper. I tip 90% of the time. The service has to be atrocious in order for me not to tip. I slid her money. Service providers. You are mentally ill if you become upset because somebody does not leave you a tip and you make your own prices. Please charge what you're worth. Don't charge what people you think people gonna pay. Charge what you're worth, and people will still come. So you're not upset if somebody don't tip you. Don't rely on tips. Charge your worth. I did hair for years. I was never ever upset when somebody leave me a tip. I felt well compensated. A tip was a plus for me. Thank you very much. Coffee shops. I got the biggest beef with you. Next time that barista spin that screen around and say, one more question, and they don't like the answer to my question, and that bitch whole demeanor change, I'm going to jail. And what I look like going to jail for being a barista ass? What you in here for? Being a barista's ass? And I'm not even a tough guy. Okay? I'm just addicted to coffee. I'm not a morning person. And I don't like people's reaction. When they ask me for something and I say no, and they get an attitude with me, it's a problem. In this economy...
Yeah, so I believe, as a man, we ain't going to be that reactive. But if people have a problem with you saying no, then I think like I ain't about to feed into that energy for one. All right. Number two, um, I feel as though people sometimes, maybe not during tipping, but sometimes they are afraid to say no, and that's the reason why, because they kind of feel like the person will be mad. Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you ever said no to someone asking for a tip, and have they gotten mad? And what did they do? Have they gotten angry? Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you ever been peer pressured to tip as well?
We are going to see how much a table of 6 women tipped. First one, total was $51. They left $9. Second one, total of $32, $0 tip. $55, $0 tip. $60 left $6. $21 left $7, and then $23 left $4. So I am grateful for any tip, but what
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad she's grateful. That just made me realize, and I don't know what place she work at. I ain't really read her name tag, or, you know. But anyways, bruh, I be tipping pretty well. You know what I'm saying? I feel a little better about my tips. You know, because I be this weekend we went out. I forgot how much we spent, but it might have been like $40, and I tipped a 20. Call me crazy. I ain't looking at the percent. You know what I'm saying? Because I already told y'all how I be handling my money. You know what I'm saying? I got a specific account for fun. If it's as long as that money is in that fun account, I can do it whatever I want with it. If I want to bless somebody with it, I'm gonna bless them with it. You know why? Because when it comes down to making money, I'm abundant. I got an abundance mindset. There is no shortage of it. As long as I give value, there's going to be more money coming to me, and I'm going to continue to give it out and give more value. Why? Because I believe that's a more healthy cycle mentally to think about money than to think that there's a shortage on it and then hold on to it, and then you get into that cycle of not giving more because you think that there's a shortage of something. One of the biggest things that there's a shortage of is time, and most people waste that. You know what I'm saying? Bruh. I clocked out of work today at 5 p.m. It is 11 p.m. right now. Make sure y'all don't see no sensitive information. It is 11 p.m. right now. I clocked out. I clocked out at 5 p.m. Now I'm about to go to bed because it's the end of the show, but you know what I'm saying? Most people waste their time and try to save their money. I invest my money and use my time wisely. What do you do with your time? Someone said, tip culture feels pressured regardless. You can say that. Sure, everybody's asking for a tip, but you still can say no, whether it's pressured or not, right? I think about it like I told y'all earlier, like I was bullied in high school. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to comply with what people ask for. And let me be clear with you on this, because I worked in sales for 5 years. 5 years. People don't have problems saying no. They don't. They don't have problems saying no. Hey, you ever thought about getting solar panels? I'm not interested. I've done door-to-door sales. I've done phone call sales. I've done Zoom call sales. I've done in-person sales. People don't have a problem saying no to something they don't want to pay for. So I'm not saying I disagree with your statement, but I'm kind of like, how do you feel pressured when you know you don't want to do it anyways? These people have these opinions of like, well, I ain't got no problem tipping, but I ain't gonna tip. Okay, so how do you feel pressured? How do you get angry at somebody asking for it and you won't? Like, that's like me. Let me put it in a scenario like this. That's like me driving my car and I see somebody from a distance, like poking their finger out like this, asking for a ride. And I already know in my head, I'm headed towards this direction. I got to be here at this time. And I see them, and it's like, I see them for 5 seconds while I'm driving. And I'm like, oh, they asking for a ride. Boom. My head is back on the road. I'm like, I hope he gets a ride. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not angry because he's standing on the side of the road. That's what people do when they want to ride. That's what people do when they want to tip. So how can I feel pressure for something that I was already not locked into? Does that make sense? Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. It's all good if we disagree. Nobody agrees with everybody 100% anyway. So anyways, let's go to this last clip.
I went to dinner with my parents last night and we did not tip our server, and I want to know what you would have done in our situation. The first time our server came over, we got waters. Then when she came back with those 5 minutes later, my mom and I ordered espresso martinis. Then we ordered our food as well. I see this steak salad on the menu. I'm like, delicious. I want it. I'll get it. My mom sees these chicken fajitas. She's like, wow, that's a ton of food. My dad's like, yum, I'll split that with you. They say to our server, wow, that's a ton of food. Is that enough for both of us? She says, yes, definitely. It's a ton of food. Like, you're good. So they order that. At this same time, my dad also orders a side Caesar. She comes back over like 20 minutes later and says, oh, your food will be out shortly. My mom and I say, okay, what about our espresso martinis? And you can see the panic on her face, remembering she forgot to bring those in. So she goes back to the bar, punches those in, comes back. She's like, oh, they had to reset the espresso machine, so it'll be out soon. We're like, okay, whatever, you forgot. Food comes out. This was my salad. Yum, delicious, perfect. And this was my parents' ton of food fajita. She also never brought my dad Caesar salad. 5-10 minutes later, she brings our espresso martinis. My parents are like, hey, so like, this is not what we ordered. You said it would be a ton of food. You said it would be like the picture. This is not like the picture at all. And she's like, oh yeah, like that's what the chicken fajita is. And my parents are like, that's not what you told us. She then goes on to say that this is this chicken and steak combo fajitas. But if you look, that's all chicken. There ain't no steak there. Basically, she's just arguing with us. So my mom asked for the manager. And the first manager is where everything went very south. She comes over and is immediately like talking very loudly, talking over us, not letting us tell her like the story. And she's like, yeah, it's basically like a chip bag where they enlarge everything to make it like seem better. And my parents are like, no, like our server told us that that's what we were getting. So as a manager, I'm not a manager. If I was the manager, I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so sorry. She told you the wrong thing. I'm just gonna eat the cost of another chicken breast and bring that out for you because that's what you were told you were getting. And just whatever. Shit happens. Who cares? But she's just talking over us, yelling about how we're wrong and what else do we want to order and pay for. And my parents are like, we're not paying $26 for what we got. We also told the first manager we hadn't got our espresso martinis yet, and she said it was because the bar was slammed, but the two bartenders were standing there talking because they had nothing else to be doing. Eventually she says something like, yeah, I hear you, I'm listening. My mom goes, no, you're not, you're talking over. She says, I'm done, I'm going to get the other manager. And I'm acting this out for you. We're gonna pretend the other manager's right like here. So she runs over, she's like jumping up and down, pointing at us, yelling at the other manager about what's going on. And everyone in the bar area is like turning, like open mouth, staring at us. And we're like, what is going on? Also, my dad had still yet to get his Caesar salad after my server said she would go figure that out. So manager 2 waits like 10-15 minutes to come over. So their food has been sitting there. It's cold now. I'd started eating and he's like, what more do you want to order? And my parents like, we don't want to order anything else. This is not $26 worth of food. We were promised the picture. Can you bring us another chicken breast? He never offers to do that. He did end up getting my dad Caesar salad, which he had ordered 45 minutes ago at this point in time, and nothing else was done to resolve the situation at all. My parents just ended up not eating the fajitas. It's like 9 p.m. at this point in time, so I ate my salad, they sat there, we watched the UK-UT game, and then we didn't tip. If it wasn't for the rudeness of the first manager, we probably would have given the server a couple dollars, but we didn't because...
Yeah, I think this is a pretty justified scenario where I wouldn't tip either. One thing that I do pay attention to when it comes down to a menu, we know these restaurants give fillers, and that is wrong, 100%. It's false advertisement. But what I've came to realize, whether I'm eating out or not, I look at the protein amount, I look at the fat amount, I look at the carb amount, I look at the calories. Most people ain't gonna do that because they don't feel like they have the time to do it. I do it because I like to feel like I know how much it's going to fill me up, because I am, I lift weights and stuff. I want to make sure it's protein dense. Anyways, if they didn't eat the food and they complain about the food, yeah, they won't try to get over. There's some situations like this where people really don't deserve a tip. They really don't even deserve to, get paid off of the food that they made, knowing that they should have given a bigger amount. I mean, they were missing a whole protein item on the plate. That was crazy. If I saw chicken and steak on the same plate in a picture, I'm thinking I'm getting chicken and steak. You feel me? And if I'm not, I'm like, yo, where is it at? And they didn't have the compassion at all to try to like give them another plate. The thing is about when it comes down to business, most people, not even most people who do bad business, they start thinking about how, oh, well, it's okay if they are unsatisfied, right? You can't please everybody, but they think about how they people who are unsatisfied, that it'll just drop with them. But people who are unsatisfied in business, when you do them wrong, they do things like this. Create an online video that got 678,000 likes, 15,000 comments, and 16,000 saves and 3,000 shares. Bad news spreads way more than good news. Hands down. All right. My man Snowden said it's just because in society it's almost looked down upon if you don't tip. Like, why does it have to be a whole conversation? I get it. Bro, I get it. Like, I wish people got paid enough to where they don't have to tip. But let me be clear. I believe service-based businesses where somebody is serving you when you didn't have to do the job. For example, you didn't have to cook. You didn't have to prepare the food. None of that. You can just walk up, say what you want, and pay, and you get it hot and fresh. You know what I'm saying? And you're served good. I believe there should be a tip because they don't get paid off of just giving you the food. They get paid off of serving you from something that you didn't want to do yourself, which is called a luxury. You know, that's like a chauffeur. Well, not a chauffeur, but a valet. You pull up to a place and it's like valet, and it's like, yo, I don't need nobody to park my car, but it's the experience within it. And those people, they get most of their money, valets, off of tips, right? And so that's just my principle, bro. You ain't got to agree with me. I'm just saying my principle is if I don't want to tip, I'm probably not going to go out. I'd rather be treated kindly and with great service and be generous with my money than to feel cheap with my money and be treated with great service. Just because I know how it is being on the opposite end. I've never been a server, but I did do sales again for 5 years. And I know how it feels like to work for free. And I mean for free, commission only free. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares about the bills you got to pay. You are the person that makes or breaks your life every single month. I've been in that situation. And so I know when people have bad days, you might not feel the best. You forget, you know what I'm saying? You might be a little nervous or whatever. If somebody's treating me bad, sure, I ain't going to tip. You know what I'm saying? But I've been in that position where, you know what I'm saying? You don't get paid anything, bro, when you commission. And that's not to say, feel sad for those type of people. But if I get treated good and I feel like I was respected, I was cared for, it's like hospitality. That's kind of how I think about it. You know what I'm saying? You made it a little bit more enjoyable, Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I enjoyed my time with you all. I appreciate everybody who stayed for the show. I will see you guys live tomorrow night as well. Yeah. I'm going to be working on the Patreon later tonight for you guys to create some YouTube value for people who want to have a separate income stream with making money online. All right. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.